What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D-Neil back with another reaction video. Who is the best AFL player of all time? Y'all please feel free to comment who you think. If there's a great player you want to see me react to a video of their highlights, drop it in the comment section. Or actually, you can subscribe to Patreon, suggest a video, or in the description section there's a Google form link. But either way you want to do it, I want to know if y'all at the end, by the end of this video, do y'all agree with this guy or girl or whoever channel this is? Or do you have your own opinion? Before we jump in, subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so I can suggest it. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. I love talking to you guys, and I'm human. I talk back. Like I said before, if you got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or in the description section. There's a Google form link. What we got? AFL.
The AFL has had many talented players throughout its time at the top of Australian sports. Cult heroes, legends of old, and young guns, all having an impact on our great game. But the controversial question must be asked: who is the best AFL player of all time? It's a loaded question which many...
Easy, ran the whole field, get off me, you can't tackle me. Alright, I'm sorry.
Controversial question must be asked: who is the best AFL player of all time? It's a loaded question which many say there is no conclusive answer to. But during this video, I'm going to make a case for 7 different players in being the GOAT of the AFL, and lay out all the evidence and opinions that I have on the matter. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more vids like this, and without
I love the way they... let me be an AFL real, hold up. But my guy caught that joker, started running back the other way, then turned around for a split second, kicked it straight through the goal for 6 points.
That I have on the matter. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more vids like this, and without further ado, let's get into it. The first player that some people may think is the GOAT of the AFL is Gary Ablett Sr. Let go by Hawthorn as a youngster due to...
No, because we got to look at that picture one more time. Guys, he's literally standing a whole person length above everybody else. Like, he's up there. Like, I know y'all can sit on each other's backs and everything, but he's standing in the air, like floating, levitating above everybody else in this picture.
I think is the GOAT of the AFL is Gary Ablett Sr. Let go by Hawthorn as a youngster due to somewhat lacking enthusiasm for the team and the big city, Gary absolutely exploded into an exciting young star at the Geelong Football Club and continued a stellar legacy well into his career. Known by his dominant goal-kicking ability, high-flying marks, and a superstar factor which followed him throughout a topsy-turvy career, Gary's career is the stuff of legends, with countless stories of incredible feats. He's one of the few players to win the Norm Smith medal on a losing team, kicking 9 goals in the process. Averaging 4 goals and 6 marks per game across his career, Ablett was the epitome of a superstar forward. He collected 3 Coleman medals across his years at Geelong and notched 4 All-Australian nods, leading the Cats in goal scoring 6 times. Gary played the game with ease and did things that no one had ever...
Hey, yeah, this man nasty, bro. This man right here is nasty. Did you see how far what's the furthest goal kicked in the AFL? Because my guy's booting the mess out of this ball straight through the uprights. And my guy just definitely need this guy in the back, push backwards, nice catch.
Leading the Cats in goal scoring 6 times. Gary played the game with ease and did things that no one had ever seen before. He also had an MJ-esque arc, where he temporarily retired, came back to the VFL and continued to be one of the best players in the league. Knocks on Ablett's legacy include the fact that he never won a premiership, and the fact that he played in an older era. Some swear he's the best, but can that be true without the biggest trophy in the game? One of the most exciting and mysterious players to kick off the list, Gary Ablett Sr. still remains as the best player of all time in a lot of fans' minds, still reminiscing on that nothing but godly grab in the autumn of 1994. The next player that can be argued for this position is Gary's son, Gary Ablett Jr. Gaz carried the Suns.
The senior, indeed. Think about that. For arguments of greatest of all time, you and then your son comes along and we'll get in the argument. Like, that's got to be one of the greatest feelings, one of the greatest accomplishments, achievements for both of you guys. I love that.
That can be argued for this position is Gary's son, Gary Ablett Jr. Gaz carried the Suns for years with limited help, and that may have led to his overall career not being viewed as highly as other players on this list. Certain injuries also impacted Ablett in prime years of his playing days. On both Geelong and Gold Coast, the Little Master showcased his supreme skills and always found a way to awe crowds and help his team win. He's one of the very few players to win a Brownlow on 2 different teams and did so with exceptional play. Averaging 25 disposals, 3 marks, 4 tackles and a goal per game as a rover, Gaz personally was one of my favourite players to watch growing up, just simply because he made the game look so easy. His award cabinet also displays this, showcasing 2 premierships, 2 Brownlows, 8 All-Australian nods, 6 club best and fairest, and 3 club leading goal kicker awards. Gaz could have...
They're literally like, you're stiff arming a person this way. You're literally turning around to kick the goal. This, bro, literally kicking this ball with so much accuracy while moving at full speed is absolutely crazy.
Australian nods, 6 club best and fairest, and 3 club leading goal kicker awards. Gaz could have been one of the very few 3-time Brownlow winners, but due to some injuries and Matt Priddis for some reason polling votes in 2014, this didn't happen, despite Gary trying desperately to carry Gold Coast to a team of worth. His venture to Gold Coast may be a slight knock on his legacy, due to them being a bad football team and not having successful seasons even with Gary on the roster. To be fair, not many players would thrive on a team that fresh and developing. Gaz embodies a player who is on another level to his competition, a player who embodies the know-how and skill needed in the modern game. He certainly makes a strong case within this conversation for the best player of all time. Wayne Carey was an extremely controversial and exciting player during his time within the league. Noting his brief stint in Adelaide, Duck's best work was done in the blue and the white for the Kangas. With a great combination of shiftiness and strength at a key position, Duck helped to revolutionise the position as a whole. He took North Melbourne to 7 straight prelims in his time there and managed to win 2 premierships in the mid to late 90s. Averaging 16.5 disposals, 7 marks and 3 goals per game, it was more about his impact on the game that made Carey one of the best of all time. In his career he won 2 premierships, 7 All-Australian nods, 4 club best and fairest and 5 club leading goal kicker awards. His impact on the game through contested wins and goals led to great team success, and he upheld admired leadership for most of his career until, you know, certain events unfolded. His stats aren't too great and he never won a Brownlow, but his success at North can only be accredited to his efforts. Redefining the impact of a key forward, Duck led North Melbourne to various final successes, displaying great playing ability and leadership for the most part. Chris Judd arguably
such a tough angle.
Displaying great playing ability and leadership for the most part. Chris Judd arguably has the best prime years of any of the players on this list, playing at a high level at both West Coast and Carlton across 2 different playing styles with great proficiency. Over his career, Judd dominated in 2 roles, as both a burst outside player to a contested ball beast in his later years, especially during his stint in Carlton. He ended up not just winning a Brownlow at 21, but winning a Brownlow at 2 different clubs, and winning a Norm Smith on a losing team in 2005, averaging 23 disposals,
both feet just as lethal. Seen him kick it with his right, seen him kick it with his left, both feet just as lethal.
And winning a Norm Smith on a losing team in 2005. Averaging 23 disposals, 2.5 marks and 4 tackles per game, Judd won 1 premiership, 2 Brownlows and 1 Norm Smith, and achieved 6 All-Australian nods and 5 club best and fairest throughout his career. He thrived in 2 very different situations at 2 very different clubs, and allowed his game to adapt in a modernised AFL league. Certain injuries late in his career, such as an ACL, might have prevented him from earning the title of best of all time, and the fact that he only won 1 premiership doesn't help his case much either. But nonetheless, Chris Judd was an explosive player who optimised the modern game through an adaptation in play style, and is truly a player who sometimes gets overlooked when it comes to the best of the best. Rewinding through the years, Leigh Matthews is a strong contender for the all-time spot, and one of the most common answers given by AFL fans. A legend at the Hawthorn Footy Club, Leigh was renowned for his skill, fierceness and absolute commitment to the game. After all, he was nicknamed Lethal Leigh, and had a ferocity for the ball expressed by very few. If you're in between Leigh and the ball, you're in trouble. Matthews redefined what it meant to be a rover within the league, and being the most impactful player on the ground by far. Somehow, despite Leigh's dominance in countless awards, he never won a Brownlow medal, one of the most surprising facts that I came to research in preparation for this video. This comes behind other shining career achievements including 4 premierships, 8 best and fairest, 1 Coleman medal, 1 All-Australian nod and an inclusion in the AFL Team of the Century. It's also worth noting that he kicked 915 goals across his career, which is currently still the record number kicked by a non-forward. This is due to the
he kicked 915. Oh my lord.
Goals across his career, which is currently still the record number kicked by a non-forward. This is due to the fact that Leigh averaged 2.7 goals per game across a 17-year career. He also averaged 22 disposals and 4.5 marks per game in his time in the VFL, putting up very solid numbers across the board. I wasn't alive back then, obviously, but it's safe to say that a lot of Leigh's impact as a player couldn't be contained to a simple stat sheet. He's considered the GOAT by many due to his sheer dominance, the reputation he built as a competitor, and the 4 premierships that he won while playing, along with countless other awards. The fact that he lacks a Brownlow medal does hold him back in comparison to other candidates, but once his stats are looked at in closer detail, you would find it hard to believe that he did not come home with the award at least once. Similarly to other candidates on this list, perhaps playing in an older era with less teams hinders his legacy, where the quality of talent can be argued, but is obviously lesser than today's league. Lethal Leigh was a hard-headed superstar who put it all on the line every game.
That was really nice.
Obviously lesser than today's league. Lethal Leigh was a hard-headed superstar who put it all on the line every game. With one of the best resumes of any AFL player, it's easy to see why he received so much recognition as one of the best of all time. Now hear me out. Dusty Martin is definitely worth a strong mention when it comes to this conversation, representing the modern game to its fullest. One of the best to ever do it in Richmond Guernsey, the sheer workhorse mentality of Dusty and a playstyle which combines skill and athleticism has propelled him into one of the best players of all time. 3 Norm Smiths, what can you say? And with one of the best dynasties in recent AFL history, in a few years, Dusty has really put his mark on the league as a whole.
Hey, that man got a foot on him. That man got a...
Recent AFL history, in a few years, Dusty has really put his mark on the league as a whole, influencing the game heavily. Averaging 25 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles and 1 goal per game across his career so far, Dusty has really benefited from his use at the Tigers on the forward flank and through the mid. 3 premierships, 3 Norm Smiths, a Brownlow, 4 All-Australian nods and 2 club best and fairest speak for themselves on a player's resume. And if an older player carried these honours, I think they would be held to a higher view from AFL fans. Dusty still has time to go in his career also, and is doing his best work in the modern game, where the competition and skills among players are at an all-time high. But what holds him back is that he hasn't really achieved that legend status yet, I feel, especially in the eyes of older fans.
Shoot!
And it also can be argued that...
Can we talk about that hustle right there? That alone, yeah, you're great.
Skills among players are at an all-time high. But what holds him back is that he hasn't really achieved that legend status yet, I feel, especially in the eyes of older fans. And it also can be argued that a large part of his success was the team surrounding him, as the Tigers have been pretty good in the past 5 years or so. But with trademarks such as the don't argue and a winning culture cultivated at the Richmond Football Club, it's hard to overlook Dusty as a modern candidate for this position. Ted Whitton is a player which may get overlooked by casual AFL fans. With a nickname like Mr. Football, how could he not be in contention for this honour? A Footscray legend and role model of the game, Ted possessed great all-around ability at key positions such as centre-half forward and centre-half back. Described as a prodigious kick, a flawless mark, and having unequalled ground and hand skills by the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, Whitton was ahead of his time, patenting the flight pass as a way of increasing his speed of play. In the last 6 years of an illustrious 20-year career, Ted's stats were recorded to a basic level. Per game he averaged 16 disposals, 5 marks and 1 goal. As this was obviously near the end of his career, it has to be imagined what Ted accomplished statistically between 1952 and 1964. We can assume that it would have contained some historical numbers, with it being known that he kicked 360 goals across this time span.
God! That man booted that. He said, Jesus, I'm going to kick this to you. Please drop it in between them goalposts.
With it being known that he kicked 360 goals across this time span, in shorter than modern VFL seasons. Across his career, Ted amassed 5 club best and fairest, 4 club leading goal kicker awards, 3 All-Australian nods, 1 VFL premiership, and an inclusion in the VFL and AFL Team of the Century as the captain of the team, possibly being the best all-round player ever and possessing superb skills which were second to none at the time, are reasons that Ted may be considered as the best player of all time. Aspects of his career which may hold him back from this title include the era he played in. Due to the majority of Whitton's playing days taking place in the 1950s and 60s, certain aspects of his career may be exaggerated, and the competition he faced playing in the VFL may not be as substantial as the modern day league we know. The fact that only 1 premiership is present in his trophy cabinet is another variable which needs to be considered. Ted was an amazing player, who is a pioneer of the modern game and who rightfully deserves to be in this conversation. That wraps up my list of players who I think can be considered as the best of all time. Some honourable mentions that have yet to be spoken about in this video include Nathan Buckley, Adam Goodes, Tony Lockett, James Hird, Dick Reynolds, Malcolm Blight, John Coleman and Robert Harvey, who all have their cases in their own right to be considered some of the greatest players ever. If I've missed a player or not done justice to some of the candidates, feel free to leave a comment down below and let's start a conversation on this topic, as I'm interested to know what you guys think. Remember to like if you enjoyed and subscribe for future Sportsfield content. Have a good one and cheers. The AFL has had many...
oh shoot. Okay, let me know what you guys think. I'm very intrigued because that was a dope video. These players are absolutely incredible. Like the crazy ability they have to literally be running full speed, stiff arm, or spin, or do whatever, and be great with both feet and with kicking these goals from 50, 60 yards. I don't know how far they are. They're booting the mess out of this ball. It's amazing. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video you want to see me react to, you can subscribe to Patreon, or in the description section there's a Google form link. Hit the link, fill out your suggestions, send it to me. Want me to get to yours faster, fill out premium, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D-Neil, out.